All right, I'm going to go through a worksheet that I created to help you figure out what your TRA benefits would be. TRA's calculator or some of those things that they have in place right now may not necessarily give you all the details that how it works, and so this is one of the ways that we can figure that out. Okay, so this top section is kind of important, but you can fill this out in any order. You could do this first or this one. Age you want to retire, total years of teaching, however you want to do that. Okay, so let's say for me, I want to teach. Well, I first started contributing in 1996. You can fill this out when your first year of teaching was, right? And let's say that I want to teach. Let's say for let's say 35 years. Let's say, okay. So if I want to retire, I want to teach for 35 years. All right, that's kind of my goal. If I could teach for 35 years, that would be fantastic, right? All right. So what would happen is we'd age, so 35 would be over here, 35. Sorry, my bad. And then year would be, if I wanted 35, that'd be 2031. Not that. Okay. So 2031 would be my first, that would be the fall of 2031 would be the fall that I would retire. Age at which I want to retire. So I would be I'd 59 when I retire, right? And so that would mean that I would have 22 years in retirement. Sometimes we don't think about that. That's kind of an important piece is how many years are we going to be using this benefit, right? So we need to do a little calculation here, and I'm going to do this manually so you can see what happens here. In years that I have before 2006, you could just do a quick estimate on this and take 2006 minus the first year that you started, if you started before that. Okay, and we can get 10 years. We'll make that easy. This is an estimate. This is by no means official. Okay, this is not official at all. Okay, but 10 times 1.4, that would give me 14%, right? And then years after 2006, right? So if I have 10 years in before 2006, then that would mean that I have 25 years after 2006, right? And this is all hypothetical. So I take 25 times 1.9. These are the multipliers that were established back in 2013, I believe it was. All right. So that's 47.5. And then I add those two together. Whoops. 47.5 plus 14. Right. So that gives me 61.5%. Okay, that's the percentage total, right? Okay, now we want to write this as a decimal, so we're going to put that down here. So this is the one we're going to use. So that's going to be 0.615. All right, that's in a percent. So percent to decimal, we move the decimal place 2 places to the left. Now, this is where we get a little interesting. What do you think your high five salary might be? Right? Let's say 90,000. Okay, I have no idea what that's going to be. Remember, it's the high five it's a high five group. Okay, some people don't get that. All right, so what I mean by that is, so I started in 96. So now let's say your salary, let's say I only had 10 years in. And let's say it doesn't have to be the last five, it's a group. Let's say this year was super high for your salary, right? And then this was super high, right? And this one, right? And this one, right? And then maybe this one, right? And maybe you had some time off, whatever it was here. So maybe this one is your high. These were high salaried times for you. So your high five salary, it could be in this range right here, right? Or it might be in this range, right? It could be that range, right? Whatever that high five group might be. Okay? And TRA figures it out very well. So we have 90,000 is your salary that we're figuring out, make it easy, math-wise. And the percentage total, right? So we added that up, so that's 0.615. All right. Now, here we go. Times 0.615. So I get 55,300 $350. Right? That's going to be my amount that I would get if I was rule of 90 or if I retired at age 65. Okay? That's unreduced benefit. That's the total that you would get every year if it was unreduced. All right, so now we have to find the years of service and penalty. So if you are at 65 or you're a rule of 90, you don't have to go any further. But if you're not rule of 90, you're a tier 2 educator, then we have to keep going. So we have to figure out the years of service and penalty. So write that percentage here. So if you go down below here and it says, what age did you retire? Well, I retired at age 59. I had over 30 years of service. That's here, this group right here. Now there's three different charts here, and I put this one in the middle because this is the amount you would use these two if you had this section. Okay. If you were hired after July 1st, 2006, it would be this group right here. Okay? Does that make sense? This chart works for both of them. Okay? All right, so I have over 30 years of service. That's a 42% penalty. So that percentage is 42%, or 0.42. Okay, here we go. Unreduced benefit, $55,350. And you can fill all the green ones in, $55,350, $55,350. Okay? Now, the decimal of the penalty percentage, that's going to be 0.42. That's how much we're going to get penalized. That is a penalty. So that's 55,350 times 0.42. So that's $23,247. Okay, that's the amount that I get reduced. All right, so that's $23,247, right? And so I take that amount, and I got 55,350 minus the 23,247. That's $32,103. That's my total yearly benefit that I would receive. Okay. Now, what we want to do is look at this number and kind of think about this in a long-term setting. Okay. So if I took my unreduced benefit, if I didn't have any, if I had I didn't have to reduce it at all, I just multiply that by 22 years, right? And I took that times 22. Here we go. 350 times 22. And that gives me $1,217,700. That's how much I would earn in 22 years of getting my pension benefit. Okay, how about if I take that total yearly benefit, so that's $32,103, right? And we take that times 22. So here we go. 32,103 times 22. And that gives me $706,266. That's how much I will earn if I decide to retire at 59. I'm going to put age 59. Okay. Now, how much did we lose? Well, that was $23,247 that we lost because of our penalty, and that's times 22 years. So we lost $511,434. $511,434. This is how much we lost. This is how much we lost because we had to take a penalty. Let that sink in for a moment. I lost $500,000 because I had to pay a penalty. This is real numbers. And you can play around with this all you want, right? You could say, well, what happens if I want to retire at age 60 or 61 or 62? You could do all this calculation again. Okay, you wouldn't necessarily need to do this all the time. You could just say, what age do you want to retire at, right? And that would be the this is the key that you want to know is what age do you want to retire at? That's the key, right? So yeah, this is real numbers. This is starting next year because we have the NRA 65, right? So this is next year in 2025. This is when this begins. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great rest of the day. If you want more copies of this, I'll be emailing this out, and you can do this as many times as you want. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.